As the rangers and scientists worked tirelessly to uncover the truth behind the genetically engineered creatures, tensions began to rise within the team. Supplies went missing, communication devices malfunctioned, and strange accidents occurred at the most inopportune times. James, the seasoned ranger, couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. He confided in Amina, who shared his suspicions. "Someone's sabotaging us," James said, his voice low and urgent. "But who?" Amina frowned, her mind racing. "It has to be someone with access to our equipment and plans. Someone we trust." Their suspicions fell on Dr. Mwangi's assistant, a quiet and unassuming man named Kip. He had always been in the background, rarely speaking unless spoken to. But recently he had been acting strangely, lingering near the lab equipment, asking too many questions and disappearing for hours at a time. One night, as the team prepared for a crucial mission to infiltrate the rogue organization's headquarters, James and Amina decided to confront Kip. They found him in the lab, hunched over a computer, his face illuminated by the glow of the screen. "What are you doing?" James demanded, his voice sharp. Kip froze, his eyes wide with fear. I was just. Amina stepped forward, her gaze piercing. "You've been feeding information to the enemy, haven't you? You're the traitor." Kip's shoulders slumped, and he nodded, his voice barely a whisper. "They threatened my family. I didn't have a choice." James clenched his fists, his anger boiling over. "You put all of us at risk. Do you have any idea what they're planning?" Kip's eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry. I never wanted this. But I can help you stop them. I know where their headquarters are." Reluctantly, the team decided to give Kip a chance to redeem himself. With his help, they devised a plan to infiltrate the rogue organization's base and put an end to their twisted experiments once and for all. The high-stakes chase. The journey to the rogue organization's headquarters was fraught with danger. The team traveled under the cover of darkness, their jeep bouncing over the rough terrain as they navigated the treacherous landscape. The air was thick with tension, every shadow a potential threat. As they approached the coordinates Kip had provided, they were ambushed. A convoy of armed vehicles appeared out of nowhere, their headlights blinding as they closed in. Bullets whizzed past the jeep, tearing through the air with deadly precision. "Hold on," James shouted, swerving to avoid the gunfire. Amina returned fire, her aim steady despite the chaos. "We need to lose them." The chase was a blur of adrenaline and fear. The jeep careened through the savannah, narrowly avoiding trees and rocks as the enemy vehicles pursued relentlessly. Kip, his hands trembling, guided them through a hidden path that led to a narrow ravine. "There," he shouted, pointing to a gap in the rocks. "If we can make it through, we can lose them." James gritted his teeth and accelerated, the jeep scraping against the rocks as they squeezed through the narrow passage. Behind them, the enemy vehicles were forced to stop, their larger frames unable to follow. The team breathed a collective sigh of relief, but they knew the danger was far from over. The rogue organization's headquarters loomed ahead, a fortress of steel and concrete hidden deep within the savannah. The confrontation. The infiltration of the headquarters was a carefully orchestrated operation. The team split into two groups. James and Amina would lead the assault, while Dr. Mwangi and Kip worked to disable the security systems and free the captive animals. As they breached the facility, they were met with fierce resistance. Armed guards patrolled the halls, their movements precise and coordinated. James and Amina fought their way through, their training and determination giving them the edge they needed. Meanwhile, Dr. Mwangi and Kip located the control room. With Kip's knowledge of the facility's layout, they were able to bypass the security systems and shut down the power. The facility was plunged into darkness, the alarms blaring as the team pressed forward. In the heart of the facility, they found the leader of the rogue organization, a cold and calculating woman named Dr. Evelyn Kane. She stood in a lab filled with cages, her eyes gleaming with a twisted sense of pride. "You're too late," she sneered. "The next phase of our project is already underway. Soon, the world will bow to our creations." James stepped forward, his voice steady. "This ends now. Your experiments are over." Dr. Kane laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the lab. "You think you can stop me? You're nothing but a nuisance." Amina raised her weapon, her eyes blazing with determination. "We're not just a nuisance. We're the ones who are going to take you down." A fierce battle ensued, the lab erupting into chaos as the team fought to subdue Dr. Kane and her guards. In the end, it was Kip who delivered the final blow, using his knowledge of the facility to trigger a containment protocol that sealed Dr. Kane and her team in the lab. As the authorities arrived to take control of the facility, the team regrouped, their bodies battered but their spirits unbroken. They had done it, they had stopped the rogue organization and saved countless lives. The aftermath. The lion, now free from the burden of the hybrid creatures, was released back into the wild. The team watched as it disappeared into the golden grass, its strength and spirit restored. It was a moment of triumph, a reminder of why they fought so hard to protect the natural world. But the battle was far from over. The discovery of the lab had exposed a dark underbelly of the world, a place where science and morality collided in the most horrifying ways. The team knew that they would face more challenges in the future, but they also knew that as long as they stood together, they could overcome anything. Moral of the story. The moral of the story is that even in the face of overwhelming darkness, there is always hope. The tale highlights the importance of courage, unity, and ethical responsibility in the fight to protect the natural world. It also serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition and the need to respect the balance of nature. Ultimately, the story is a testament to the power of determination and the belief that, no matter how dire the situation, there is always a way to make a difference.